Greetings, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching. Welcome to another live catch up with Mayo. This is a weekly Q&A that I'm trying to do at least once a week. Excuse me, if not more. Usually Saturday at this time, roughly around 4 p.m. And I'm glad to be here with you again. So let's see what we can see. And I actually have a cup of tea, which is unusual for this hour. Yeah. All right, folks. So let's go here. And there's Patrick saying to hit the like button, which I appreciate, of course. Happy Record Store Day 2024. Yeah. Sending hugs. There's Robin. Thank you, Robin. Sending them back to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. Happy Record Store Day, Joe and Channel. Patrick, when you say they're showing up for you, they should not be showing up for you. I know what we're talking. I mean, excuse me, Henry. When you say that, I think I know what we're talking about. They should not be showing up for you. Okay, we'll talk a little about that if you want. A very little bit about that. Uh, so, hello, Henry. Henry, a formal hello. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm very disappointed in that. Yeah. I got a black vinyl of Crooked Boy. Well, it's not 100% black vinyl. There is some white paint in there, like white color in there, for anybody who cares. I mean, this was supposed to be a gray marble vinyl. It was like gray. This is bizarre. This is like black with just a little bit of white here and there. See? Spatterings of white. But if you look at the photos that are out there, there's photos of this. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, I just think it's ridiculous. I've seen the picture, and the picture has a lot more gray and marble in it. I'm surprised, but I mean, it's not a be all and end all. It's not going to change things. But that's interesting. Let's see. Hello, Carl. What's going on? Hello, Jonathan. Everything's good. Thank you. Piccolina the cat. Hello, Piccolina the cat. Remember, you're welcome here, and other people too. I could not get the Mind Games Glow in the Dark EP. They sold out quick at my record store. Yeah, that I've heard that. Some people had problems getting it. I was lucky that well, lucky. I didn't need one because I got mine as a gift. But had I needed to buy it, luckily the store I went to had both the standard black vinyl and also the glow in the dark. So there you go. Hello, James. I'm a big fan of the song Mind Games. In a lot of ways, in some ways, that's my favorite John Lennon's track. It's hard to say. It's hard to be sure, because I love Instant Karma as well. Hello there, Gorge. What's up? Mind Games EP Ultimate Mixes Vinyl. Sounds stunning. It does. It absolutely does. Hello, Penny Lane. You're in my ears and in my eyes. What's going on, folks? Got up pretty early today to go to the record store to wait online, but I love it, as I said in my video, because usually nobody likes to wait on a line. But I actually look forward to this because it's friends that talk about all these topics, and the time goes so fast. It wasn't a very long wait. Just like doing these live streams. When you come on these live streams, the time goes fast when you're enjoying yourself. So same thing, waiting on a line and talking to everybody. So I really enjoy that. Every year I look forward to it, whether it's in April or November. Usually it could be a little cooler in November, you know. Yeah, these days I like the song Mind Games over Imagine pretty much a lot. Did I capture video from today? Well, I have a video up, yes, but it's not really, there wasn't much that went on today. And it's funny, we did get a rainy morning. The morning started out with no rain. Then as time went on, the rain started to come in the morning. And then later the sun came out after it, after in the afternoon. Let's put it that way. So we had both. We had rain, gray skies, and then sun later. Uh, um, no, all right. Well, you're talking about. You mentioned this before. About the live videos. Yeah, it's no big deal. I've been talking about for a long time now that I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go with those group live streams. Right now, I have them down. I don't want them up right now because I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. I'm deciding whether I'm going to do one a week. I don't know. Now, that's not to say I'm never doing them again. So don't think that means, oh, he's not doing these anymore. I haven't made up my mind. In fact, tomorrow I may very well do one. Just so you know, why tomorrow? Well, because tomorrow on Sunday, I'm going to be hanging out at that classroom for quite some time. And, I like doing those things there. So I may, but I'm just trying to think like, I don't want my basic thing is, I didn't want my channel to be only about doing those live streams, but don't freak out because you'll still see some, I'm sure. And also here, doing. I know some people don't like this as much as the group live streams, but this, the very least, I'll be here doing these every week. So there you go. Let's see where we're at. Did you not even consider getting Wonderwall? Never considered getting the picture disc to Wonderwall and Electronic Sound. Never considered it. Like I said, contrary to popular belief out there and narrative, I do not have to have everything. I do not own everything, and I never will own everything. It's just not realistic. No Beatle fan can have everything, and I don't want everything. And I didn't buy the Beatles record player either, nor did I buy any of the 3-inch discs. Now, they didn't have those at my record store, but I knew at least two other record stores in the vicinity that had them. I'm just not interested. And being that I'm retired, I'm retired now and I have to watch more of the money lately. So I'm a little more selective, you know. To some people, in their view, they may think that, it's not really being very selective. They might say this guy's still buying stuff out of the wazoo. But the thing is, maybe so. I don't care. I do what I want. And I change my mind if I want. And it's my decisions, right? So there you go. Hello, Mike, Walt Jasper. Were there a lot of copies of the Mind Games EP at your record store? Yeah, there were more than I thought there were going to be. I don't remember. It's in my video. If you want to look at my video, you can see me flipping through them. I don't remember exactly how many there are. Daniel Bean, howdy back to you. Record Store Day is supposed to promote the record stores, not for people flipping records. Yes, of course. But that doesn't stop people from doing that just the same. What are you going to do? I really like the title track Crooked Boy on the EP. Linda Perry has done a superb job writing the perfect songs for Ringo. Generally, I haven't heard it yet. As soon as I hear the whole thing, I will give a review of my feelings on the four songs. But I generally speaking like Linda Perry. I like what she's been doing for Ringo and with Ringo. I wonder if the one hand clapping video will be released. The problem with this is it was only recorded on a video, and the video, I think, somebody told me today. I think JL Draw said it. There's a very rough, like I don't know what the right term is, so I'm going to say like a work copy. There's no real nice master of it, so I don't know. I hope they put it out some way as good as they can possibly get it. Who were you a bigger fan of, movie wise? Marlena Dietrich, no. Garbo, no. Betty Davis, yes, or Joan Crawford. Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, the most out of those, but Betty Davis, I think, is my favorite. Oh my God, no more Danny live streams. Those are my morning coffee routine. I'm not going to say never. There may be one tomorrow, but I'm trying to revamp it and think how I'm going to do it. Maybe. So I've been thinking. It's no surprise. I've been saying for months that maybe I was gonna not do that. I was saying that even in like October and November of last year. So, hello, Alan. What's going on? You have the super rare variant of the new Ringo EP, huh? Yeah, that really pisses me off in a way. I don't know what's up with that, but you know, that happens to me sometimes. I mean, I expected to get great. If you watch the video, this is why. Let me pick the record myself. Let me pick the record myself. There was a customer in there. He's a nice guy. I see him every year there, and I see him on not just every year at Record Store Day, but I see him on regular days too that are not Record Store Day. And he says to me, I went over there and he was ahead of me, so he just handed me a copy and passed it over. Very nice. Well, let me pick my copy. That way, I only have myself to blame if I get one that's not exactly the gray color marble. It's no big deal. Um, I wouldn't want the picture disc of Wonderwall or Electronic Sounds either. Exactly. Exactly. As we've said before, your money is your business and no one else's. I know. Absolutely. You would think everybody would realize that, right? One hand clapping material will be great remixed. Maka and the band were cooking then. I agree with you. They're at the peak, kind of, or at the wings powers. And you have Jeff Britton on the drums, and you have Jimmy McCulloch on the guitar. Jimmy McCulloch is phenomenal, was phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to that one. Hello, Claire. How you doing? Good to see you. Um, do, 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 do. Joe, you can still do them regularly and delete them immediately if you don't want them crowding up your channel. All these things I'm thinking about. Okay. I think they'll ever revisit sometime in New York City. Yes, I do. I really think they will. I don't. I have reason to believe. Let's put it this way. Without going into details, I have strong reason to believe everything will come out. Only it's delayed at the moment. Let's put it that way. Caitlin got some color, the same color Ringo EP as you. Well, that's interesting. I like to see if anybody else got the same as Caitlin and myself. Have you seen the movie Persona from '66? And if you so, do you have any thoughts? I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one. You are well respected when the Lennon estate sends you goodies. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Definitely. Good afternoon, John. What's the good word? Hey, Joe, does the Mind Games EP get you excited for the Ultimate Mix album later this year, along with the book? Well, I'm more excited about the Ultimate Mix box set of like 72 tracks, I think, and 6 CDs. That's what I'm really excited about. The book will be very interesting if we have pictures we've never seen before in it too. Because um, or details too that we don't know about. If they really go through details about the making of Mind Games record, you know. I've always loved Mind Games, but I can't stand Instant Karma. Well, to each his own. What can I say, Stephen? I love Instant Karma. Hello, Elvin. What's the good word? Let's take another sip of peppermint tea, shall we? Let's do it. Mm, how sweet it is. And this time I even put in honey in there, so it makes it sweet. All right. I feel like if John lived, he would have been the most interactive Beatle with his fans, just like how his son Sean is. He was almost too interactive with the fans. I mean, John had his bad days. John didn't always want to bother, but a lot of times he was. He liked New York. He liked people just coming up saying hi and stuff like that. Just general, just waving. He liked that kind of thing. Um, and Claire agrees. What's your favorite Beatles solo album record label? I guess Apple. I guess. From Ringo's channel, looks an awful lot like your copy, Joe. Okay. Well, right now we've had sun. It was rainy in the morning, but then the sun came out brightly in the afternoon. Right now, I think it's partly sunny. If anybody cares, So there you go. I mean the actual label on the record. What are we talking about? What's your favorite label? I don't know. I can't think. I mean, I like Wildlife. I like the Wildlife record label. You know. Yeah, I know what you're referring to with this. What is your take on Linda Perry dropping the F bomb at the Ringo event? I watched it, and when I heard her cursing with the F bomb a couple of times, the first time I took notice of it. I said, "Oh, that's why is she doing that?" But I didn't get bent out of shape about it or anything. Then I saw the video in question when Matt was saying that he was, kind of objecting to it. Let's put it that way. And then I thought, well, let me see it a second time because I had already seen it. So I saw it a second time, and I thought he's right. It is tasteless. It's not professional and everything. It doesn't it doesn't really like ruin anything for me, or it's not a huge deal. But it's not the way to conduct yourself publicly when you're at an event like that. Tea is making me belch. Sorry. When I first became a huge Beatles fan 5 years ago, I really didn't understand the big deal with the Abbey Road medley, but it grew and grew on me more and more. I absolutely love it. Well, so do I. No doubt about that. Are you asking me or are you asking Ken? Who are you asking? I think you buy the book separately. You know, time to hit the like button. Thank you, Patrick. We've only got 13 likes and 58 people watching at the moment. So please try to like it. I always say try to get at least half that. If you can, that would be nice. That helps. F bombs, not very peace and love. Well, don't forget, Ringo wasn't doing it. It was Linda Perry doing it. Who's the better singer, Bob Dylan or Mick Jagger? I would say Mick Jagger, but I like them both. I like Bob Dylan and Mick Jagger. I like what they do in their music and the way they sound in their music. And both of them have unique voices. Excuse me for that. So I finally saw May Pang's The Lost Weekend, a love story film. Brilliant. Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I saw it a few times. It's a slow news day when we're upset that Linda Perry said the F word at a Hollywood record store. Yeah, I know, but that's taking it to the extreme. You know what I mean? People do that all the time. If you complain about something, then other people say, "Oh boy, first world problems." There's worse problems than that. Why are you complaining about X, Y, and Z when we got so many more problems? Let people say what they want, I guess. I mean, she gets, Linda Perry. I love what she does with Ringo. I think she's talented. I like the way she writes songs for Ringo. Um, I like when she appears on the track singing with along with Ringo. But when you get to the point where you're showing up and you look like a ragamuffin, or you just like came out of you know, I don't know, a barn or something. I can't think of a good example. Have a little more respect for yourself. I don't know, and Ringo, but it's all right. He made more out of it than I did. I'm not making that much out of it. And I understand. I got you, Joe. Just kidding around. I know, but when you're doing this, you have to make people. How can you tell in comments how people mean something? You can't always tell, right? I hope some of you comment on the swallowing sounds. Enjoy, but what are you supposed to say when somebody makes a comment? Trying to respond. That's all. I don't know. Uh, Yeah, if John saw the state of the world today, I really think he'd have some second thoughts. John was always known to change his mind and always reconsider things and always change his outlooks on things. And I don't think he'd be happy with anything. A lot of things. A lot of things. Some things I think he would be. You thought Linda Perry's hat was cool? I disagree. I thought it looked ridiculous. But that's just me. It's not just me, probably, but that's the phrase. It's the phrase you use. Um, Rubber Soul box set this year or help next year? What's your take? Well, the only thing every time this question comes up, the only thing I know is that supposedly Giles Martin said the next one he'll work on will be Rubber Soul, and that didn't say when, but he mentioned Rubber Soul. It's always possible for him to change his mind, and maybe they'll do another one instead. But that's all I'd heard so far. Have you read the book about John Lennon's court case in the '70s? The guy who I believe tried to muscle the Beatles to come together. Yeah, I know who you mean. Is it Jay Bergen? I think it's Jay Bergen. I don't have the book, but that would be a book that'd be very interesting. Definitely. What tracks are you most looking forward to hearing from One Hand Clapping? Um, First one comes to mind is Junior's Farm, Jet. I like these particular versions of it. The more rocking ones, Jet, uh, Junior's Farm, Live and Let Die. I mean, I'll enjoy Bluebird and Babyface and all the other stuff as well, but not at the top of my list. I used to add JK, which means joke, I think, at the end of my texts. I met Linda Perry's hat is unusual. Never seen it before. Were you upset to find your record store's Taylor Swift stock had sold out? Oh, I was thrilled. That means you weren't going to get a lot of Swifties taking over everything. We don't need a mob there. So I was happy. I was okay with it. A lot of people are saying they already have the Let It Be movie. I bet it's not in the quality we're going to see in a few weeks' time. I bet you're right. Because Peter Jackson helped to work on it, restore it. It's gonna be unlike we've ever seen it before. It's gonna look better. It's gonna sound better. I don't understand people are like, oh, poo poo. I I already have it on some kind of bootleg or something, or old laser disc or a VHS tape or whatever it is. I don't need it. Well, that's your decision, and you're entitled to make that decision. But I don't agree. We need someone new doing Rubber Soul, not Giles. Well, we're still going to get Giles, I'm sure. But like I say, I like some of the things he did on the Red album and the Blue. Oh, hello, John Alelo, Mr. Mayo. Have you gotten your copy of Taylor Swift's new album? No, I have not yet. I don't know how I'll live without it. No, never did. Are you interested in the 7-inch single that comes with the online exclusive one hand clapping? Yeah, I'm not so sure that comes along. I could be wrong. I'm not so sure that it comes along with the online exclusive version of it. I'm not so sure about that. I think it comes with the 2 LP vinyl edition. I think, you know. Oh, no one can dethrone the Fab Four, not even Swift. She'll come and go. The Beatles are immortal. Well, like I'm not going to take it away from Taylor Swift. She's obviously done a great job. Her marketing skills are amazing. She's really done incredible. She got incredible following, a fandom. But at the end of the day, I think the Beatles will live on longer. I just think that. It remains to be seen or heard. But there you go. They are leaving off the song Suicide on the one hand clapping record. Well, I didn't know about that. Do you believe that Murray produced secretly the Surfsiders album? I don't know who you're talking about. The Surfsiders album is that Beach Boys album, right? Is that what you're talking about? Because I did a video with a really horrible, horrible album. I thought that Lou Reed had something to do with singing on that album. It's an awful album. Mm. Um, it's been a while since Bob Dylan's team have put something out, right? I'm not sure of that. I mean, I don't get everything with Dylan. I don't buy everything with Dylan. Some things. Do you plan on to get Crooked Boy on CD too? Yeah, I do. I have all the stuff on CD, all the Beatles solo stuff on CD. And most of the time, if I'm going to play something by the Beatles or solo Beatles, most of the time I reach for a CD, and I like listening in the car. So sure. I haven't seen Let It Be in a long time. It'll be interesting to see the contrast between Get Back and Let It Be. Now, while it's true that Let It Be is more of a unhappy, more of a depressing kind of feeling affair, there's still people got to know, if they don't already, that there are scenes in Let It Be that are not in Get Back, or there are scenes in Get Back that are snipped that are longer in Let It Be. And the main thing that we're excited about for Let It Be is what they did on that last day, the 31st, I guess it was, where they do versions of Let It Be, The Long and Winding Road, Two of Us. We want to see those. The way it exists with Get Back is that you just, it goes along the credits. They're not full performances, like outtakes and mistakes and things like that, and clowning around. So there's a lot to recommend in Let It Be, the original film. I think, and even like the rooftop concert, you get more of it straight. Now I know the rooftop concert, even in Let It Be, they always cut down to the police trying to break it up. You're going to see the police. It's not just the Beatles, but they don't have it. Some people didn't like uh, the fact that in Get Back, Peter Jackson opted to have all the different boxes, the panels, squares to see the Beatles in different and what was going on in different things, the cops here or there. Anyway, this is not Let It Be is not like that. So anyway, there's a lot of things to recommend in Let It Be. I think. Uh, uh, do you think the Beatles and Apple Capital will release some new music from the new Let It Be on vinyl and CD? Well, that remains to be seen. I wouldn't think so now. At this point, I don't think so. But that could change. That could change. Maybe they will. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I saw that clip. I saw a clip of Ringo where he says there's no joy. He watched Let It Be and there's no joy in it, for him. And I get that. And he did say, Ringo, I think he said, which I suspect too, the director, Michael Lindsay Hogg, was trying to tell a different story. I believe that. He denies it. Who am I to tell Michael Lindsay Hogg what he really wanted to do or not? But it seems to me that he was going with the narrative, the Beatles are breaking up, or the Beatles had broken up. He says Let It Be was ready to go in late 1969 before the breakup officially happened. But I think he was definitely trying to tell the story of the Beatles coming apart. He was trying to find an angle, and I think that that's what he was trying to do. I think that he was trying to tell a sad story about the Beatles ending. What's one thing you like about Record Store Day and one thing you dislike? That's a good question, Lila. Leave it to you to come up with the good questions. Well, the one thing I like about it is, of course, you get to get a lot of stuff, and a lot of times unusual stuff, different stuff, rarer kind of stuff. Obviously, I'll also give you another thing I like about Record Store Day. I like how it brings fans together and talking about it because that's what we do when we were waiting on the line at the store. for a couple of hours. We talked about all kinds of things. What I don't like about Record Store Day is obviously people that buy copies and then sell them. They buy copies just to inflate the prices. I don't like the gouging that goes on, price gouging. That's one thing. Um, were you happy for Pete Best when he got royalties from the anthology? Yes, I was very happy for Pete. I'm glad he stuck around and stayed alive in his life long enough to get compensated for that in some way. Have you seen the one hand clapping bootleg DVD? I dusted it off last night. They were great. I can't see why they haven't put it with the new release. Yeah, I think it's a great performance overall. I like the performance. I have it. I have it back there in you know so-so quality. But I hope there's something better they can do with it. They may not be able to do anything better visually with it, but these days they can do a lot of things. So so there you go. I wonder why Sean Lennon does such a better job than the other three Beatles estates. Well, that's a matter of opinion. I personally agree with that opinion. I think the Lennon camp does the best job. I think the Lennon camp does the best job. I think the McCartney camp does the second best job, and I think unfortunately the Harrisons do the least job. And or Ringo maybe because they don't put anything out unusual from Ringo. Do you think there will be some kind of anthology anniversary next year? I actually have heard from somebody. A lot of times people talk, and you're in like the circle a little bit, and you hear stuff. I've heard talk that they're looking to do that. They're looking to do something for the anthology anniversary, including what a lot of people want, like a revamped or better quality, like this and that and the other thing. You know, maybe even some extra footage. Something. But we'll see. That one hand clapping set list is one hell of a set list. I watched it today. Yep. Somebody has to have the videotape of that show, not a film off the TV screen. Well, we'll see. It might have been wiped. The master might not exist anymore. Apple Pits, what's going on? Hey, hey, rock and roll. Hail to the chat family. Just missed you live from the record store by 5 minutes. It happens. It happens. Don't you think it's weird how James McCartney looks? His dad was one of the best looking dudes out there, and it seems like he didn't get any of his dad's genes, if you know what I mean. Well, what can I say? That's a matter of opinion. When will Sir Paul's one hand clapping be on sale to purchase? I wasn't it June 14th, I think was the date. I think June 14th was the date. And we're talking about the audio only. We're not talking about the video. So, um, all right. Thank you so much, first of all, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Can you tell my girlfriend that the White Album is better than Revolver? And you're going to think I'm just saying this because I'm playing along with the donation here. I like both. It's impossible. I think they're both great. I can't say anything less. But lately, I gravitate towards the White Album more. And why do I say that? Because first of all, there's more of it. It's longer. There are more tracks. There's more versatility. Although there's a damn lot of versatility also on Revolver. But yeah, definitely think the White Album is, in my opinion, slightly better. But there you go. But the White Album and Revolver are right there, really. Um, do you think a re-release of the anthology albums will feature new tracks? I don't know. I just be guessing. Don't know. Perhaps some Star Club tracks or the debut. Oh, well, if they're going to re-release it, they have to make it somewhat different. Hopefully, a White Album and Abbey Road are the two best, in Henry's opinion. Do you think that Paul should release a best of his radio series Ubu Jubu? There's some interesting stuff on there. I'm sure. I'm sure. I bet you anything it'll happen. I bet you. Pirate Gamer Boy says White Album, double the discs, double the fun. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm a Revolver guy for life. What do you think is the most modern sounding Beatles song? Wow. Helter Skelter. I don't. Well, Helter Skelter. Heavy metal doesn't sound that modern anymore. Helter Skelter, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You know, and then what's modern sounding? You mean what sounds the most like today's garbage? I don't know if I want anything to sound like that. I have not heard the Sissy Spacek song, but I've heard of it. Heard of it. I think Ringo comes out of Let It Be, Get Back as the most genuine, down to earth fella in it. The other three are wrapped up in their own ego and headspace. That's fair. In my opinion, I Want You, She's So Heavy is the most modern sounding Beatles song. I've heard that. A lot of people say that, and that's not bad. Not a bad choice. Okay, there's somebody that likes Revolver the best, to be honest. Here Comes the Sun for me, the best new sounding song. Well, it's got the, isn't it, does it still have the most views, downloads? I pick Abbey Road over both Revolver and the White Album, but that's me. Fact. What did you think of Billy J. Kramer at the Beatles Fest? Has he still got a good singing voice? He's an older guy. He doesn't sing as well as he did when he was in his 20s, and that's okay. But the thing is, I will say this: I think he's improved from what he was like the last several years. Okay, when I saw him, I thought he sounded better than the last few years I'd heard. So I think he might have been working on things, working on his voice a little bit. Yes, by all means, I think Let It Be is a necessary release. It was, first of all, it's necessary because it's a theatrical release. It's history. It's a 1970 film. Get Back does not replace Let It Be completely. It replaces it in some ways, some attitudes. But as I said earlier here, I don't know if you heard, there's a lot of well, not maybe not a lot, but there's footage in Let It Be that's not in Get Back. And when Peter Jackson did Get Back, he tried to avoid copying Let It Be material wise. Although there is some stuff in Get Back that's also in Let It Be. Only in Get Back, it's actually some of it is cut. So, do you like George's song "If You Believe"? I love that song. It's from George Harrison's self-titled 1979 album. George Harrison, and I do love the song. I remember watching the anthology here in the UK back in '95. I was 13 at the time. That's what got me into the Beatles ever since. A lot of people got into the Beatles because of anthology. That was a gateway for many people. Um, let's see. Okay. Do you think the U2 Sphere and ABBA Voyage arena concept is a gateway to a Beatles theme arena? Anything's possible with the Beatles, and I think the interest would be massive. My favorite Billy Joel album, it's a toss up between The Stranger and Glass Houses. Do you believe that in the Beatles biopics they portray Lennon moody behavior in an unnecessary or exaggerated way? So far, no. I think that in the biopics, whatever we're talking about, Backbeat or Birth of the Beatles, I think they do it right. I mean, Lennon had, angst and he had issues and anger and stuff. I think people go overboard today with it. Do I think Sean Lennon will ever come on Talk More Talk? Maybe. That's a good point. Lennon isn't even the moodiest Beatle. I'd say that title belongs to George. Yeah, could be right with there. He was a moody guy, George. I think I saw where Disney Plus was airing the Ruttles' Let It Rot along with Let It Be. I don't think so. Cheers. Still got mucus, folks. It's a month after I was sick. Well, 3 weeks. I was sick for like 3 weeks, and then the last week has still been residual crap. And plus, allergies don't help. Allergies are always tough for me this time of year. Um, it was a privilege being a teen when Anthology came out. Great memories discovering this incredible band, while older generations rediscover and celebrate them too. Amen to that. Amen. Am I the only one who prefers Here Comes the Sun over something? They're both great. They're two of George's greatest songs, maybe the two greatest on one album. I don't know. It depends on my mood. Here Comes the Sun. I generally would rather hear. If I happen to stumble upon either one of those songs on the radio, I kind of would prefer to hear Here Comes the Sun most of the time. You know. Let's see. The moodiest Beatle was definitely George. Lennon for the public was the sarcastic joker during the Beatles days. How did you feel about the Ruddles film when it was brand new? I really didn't like it much when it was brand new. I was a teenager and I just thought they were making fun of the Beatles, and I would see Mick Jagger making fun of the Beatles and saying, "You jealous twit." He was he was like so jealous. It burns through. You can see he's jealous. He gets really into it and dissing the Beatles. But I love the Ruddles movie now. I appreciate the Ruddles movie a lot now, and I get it. I get it. The joke, the parody, I get it. I'm in love with Macca doing live versions of Sea Moon at the moment. It's a masterpiece. I love the different vocal phrasing he throws into different versions. I always enjoyed Sea Moon, but I think McCartney's love of that song and over it, over excitement about performing it everywhere, mostly like in sound checks and things. I don't get it, but it's his song and his right to do what he wants with it. But aside from yourself, who are your favorite Beatles YouTube channel? Man, I don't like throwing anybody under the bus, or missing anybody, Off the top of no particular order, I mean, you got Beatley Tones Beatles channel, you got Matthew Street, you got Beatle Brad. I just started watching Dave a little bit. I mean, I hadn't watched Dave that much, and I know there's a lot of people I'm missing, but that's really. And again, I'm sorry. This is why I don't like answering those questions. Because if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, But those are the main ones. I think anything more of Beatles anthology will be very repetitious. I've listened to all three anthologies a million times since '95 and 96. Well, then maybe you need some new stuff in it, so it's not as monotonous to you and repetitious because you've seen them a million times. Maybe you could use some extra footage in there to break things up. Uh, is Peter Jackson working on more Beatles projects in the near future? I'm sure he is, and he's not telling us about everything, but he did talk about the fact that he actually bought, I believe he bought the Hamburg tapes, and he went to Apple, the Beatles company, the Beatles people, and said, can we release this or something like that? If I were, and they said they had no interest. He said they have no interest in releasing it, but see what you can do with it. So I'm thinking that if Peter Jackson can make the Hamburg tapes a lot cleaner and uses Mal technology to clean them up and make them more upfront, you may have something. With you, Joe. With the Beatles is an underrated album, and Don't Bother Me is an underrated George classic. Agree on both points. I love With the Beatles. Oftentimes I call it my favorite Beatles album, depending on my mood. But it's not as bad as anybody people put it down. I don't get that. Bad's not the word for it. I think a lot of people don't like the cover songs that are on it. Have you heard the Art of McCartney album? And if so, what was your favorite Redemption? Well, I haven't heard the whole album. I heard a lot of tracks. When it first came out, I was listening to Rob Leonard's show, and he played a lot of tracks. And everything I heard, I didn't like much. I didn't like most of what I heard. And I've never heard the whole thing, so I can't tell you what was my favorite version, of it because I haven't heard the whole thing. But I know I heard a lot of things I did not like. Do I remember them all? No. I won't. I'll never can forget Bob Dylan's "Things We Said Today." What an atrocious rendition that is. And I like Bob Dylan, and I defend Bob Dylan's voice, but his version of "Things We Said Today" is pathetic. Where are we at here? What was a film that scared you so much you had to leave the lights on, you couldn't sleep at night? Never happened to me, ever. I mean, I've always grown up loving horror movies, and they never scared me. I mean, I'd say there's some movies that are scary, like they make you feel a little. When I say scary, I mean a little bit intense. Like when I first saw The Exorcist in a movie theater, it was very intense. When I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was very intense. But nothing scared me really. I thought they were. I thought horror films are cool. Do you think Mick Jagger is a good dancer? I like what he does, but I wouldn't call him a good dancer. I like the moves he makes, but I wouldn't call him a good dancer. Passed on the Beatles related titles for Record Store Day as I'll wait for the 2 CD version of Mind Games in the summer. No interest in the others, other than my pre ordered copy of CD of Crooked Boy. Okay. Never liked the fact that the US All the Best album has Sea Moon on it. Far bigger hit singles were passed up, including Spies Like Us, Take It Away, and others. Good point. Good point. I like Larry Graves, but can he go a little overboard with his weird, corny jokes? Well, that's his style. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I like Larry, and I think his style suits him. Um, what about Tom's show? What are we talking about as far as favorite Beatles? Well, I was thinking of. Are you talking about favorite Beatles channels? Well, I think of that as a Paul McCartney channel. I mean, that's one of my favorites, but I was thinking the Beatles as a group. Andrew Dixon and Canadian Stud Muffin channels too. Yeah, I love what Andrew does. Andrew does a great job. He does. It's like that's what I meant. Forgetting people. Yes, yeah. Is Yellow Submarine the closest thing to a bad Beatles album? I don't believe there's none of the regular albums the Beatles released of their official catalog is bad. None of them are bad. But I think Yellow Submarine is the weakest of them. But there's other albums that qualify more as band. I'm not thrilled with the Hamburg tapes. I'm not thrilled with that album, but that I don't really count that. Is Anthony into vinyl? No way. He's not into vinyl. No. Let's see. Were you a fan of the band The Runaways, or more of a Joan Jett or another member? No, I fell in love with Joan Jett and her music when I Love Rock and Roll came out in 1982. I never looked back. I just loved her look. I liked her sound. I liked her name. She was so cool. I loved her attitude about music and rock and roll and life in general. I loved everything about it. And then later, I found out she was in another band called the Runaways. I didn't know that right away. And then I have all the Runaways stuff too. I Don was not at the record store day, but I did see him pushing his cart around outside the record store. Yes, Lila is definitely the MVP of questions. There's no doubt about it. The Exorcist was seen by you. You told me this story, right? A babysitter took you to see it at 5 years old at a drive-in. In fact, no wonder you're the way you are. uh, Money is not all you need. I still think the most important things in life, if we're talking about all you need is love, no, all you need is not love, though you need it. Health is number one. And I say that the only way people believe that health is number one and all you need, in order to feel that, you have to have lost it. When I was in my 20s, I was sick for a few years, and I wanted to get well more than anything in the world, and nothing else mattered. All the money in the world, you couldn't enjoy it if you felt lousy. So health, and second is money, because you need money. You need money to live and to eat and to do things and buy things and to have pay your electric. Love is number three. That's what I believe, but I could be wrong. Love is very important. Love is very important. Who is the better frontman between Paul, George, and John, in your opinion? Well, it's not George. Paul and John are about equal. You know what I mean? At times, Paul is probably the best frontman, but then again, at times John could be the best frontman. I give the edge to Paul. All right. I've been reading some people are starting to get tired of Taylor Swift finally getting bad some bad reviews of her new album. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Larry is not a Beatles channel. He talks about a lot of other artists. Yeah, I don't think of Larry Graves as a Beatles. That's why he didn't Canadian Stud Muffin didn't jump to mind right away. I like him and I like watching his videos. But I don't think of him as a Beatles channel per se. I don't know enough about Mr. Bean. I've seen the guy here and there, and I don't think he's particularly funny from what I've seen. But I haven't seen enough. Taylor Swift is like Adele, all about her life and experiences. Adele has burnt out, and no doubt, that's true. Thanks for the replies, Joe. Gotta go up at 5 o'clock for work. Bye. Okay, Claire. Thank you. Good seeing you anytime. Is Yellow Submarine better than Pet Sounds? Well, it is to me a little better. I mean, I like more songs on it, I guess, than Pet Sounds. Just for that reason, I just like more songs on it. That's all. Thanks for the record store day coverage. Hope to see you and Danny on future streams. Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. Just don't everybody panic too much. It's just a matter of I'm just taking stock of things and thinking how I'm going to go about it. That's all. Have you ever went to a Blondie concert? No, I never have, and that's a shame because I had my opportunities and I do like Blondie. I like Blondie the records. But Joe, if Lennon had sang "All You Need Is Health," our world wouldn't have would have the TV program Our World would have been so much different. Well, of course. Well, the whole idea of Our World is about love and everything. I understand it. They did that as a love tribute, the Summer of Love and all that. Yeah. Everything is rosy when you've got Ambrosi. Not exactly. He drives me nuts sometimes, but I would say everything is rosy when you've got Robin Ambrosi. I'll go along with that. Um, Wait a minute. I'm missing comments. They're going too fast. Hold on. Hold on. Um, the dude from Sea of Tranquility is a good music channel. Yeah, but I don't like the kind of music he talks about, really. You know, hope Peter Jackson puts together a documentary or a film with the 14 hours of the Threedles footage from the 90s. I'd like to see as much of that so-called Threedles footage as we can get. You know, I've said this once. I'll say it again. If Mayo and I had been on the Titanic together, I'd have given up a place on a lifeboat for him. Come on, man. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's a nice thing to say. Out of curiosity, hello, George, by the way. Out of curiosity, I listened to a few songs off the Swift album, The Tortured Poets, and the lyrics are interesting, deep, and artistic. There you go. Pet Sounds is a car crash. Even the cover is dumb. The cover is dumb. I'll give you that. Don't forget, Lennon said yes again. Remember that. Don't really like when Sergeant Pepper is compared to Pet Sounds, and people say Pet Sounds is better, because in my opinion, White Album, Abbey Road Revolver, all are better than Pepper. I think Sergeant Pepper is way more innovative than Pet Sounds. And if people say, well, wait a minute, Joe, you wouldn't have Sergeant Pepper without Pet Sounds influencing Paul to do something like that, something amazing. Don't forget that Pet Sounds was influenced by Rubber Soul. So there you go. I do not have the book The Beetle That Vanished, the Jimmy Nichols story. No, I don't. Oh, oh, I think he's saying yesterday. He said John Lennon says guess again in All You Need Is Love. I think he's going yesterday. That's what I think he's doing. Anybody else have an opinion on that? Because first they sing yesterday, then they sing She Loves You. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Even people who love the album do agree the cover for Pet Sounds is poor. I don't believe in Beatles. I just believe in me, Yoko and me, and that's reality. He's a great poet, and that's where his head was at that time. No, I can't. I cannot imagine watching Magical Mystery Tour in black and white. That's sacrilege. No, can't imagine that. I know they showed it that way originally, right? In England they showed it that way. Boxing Day. Bum 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 bum. That's like watching Citizen Kane in color. Yeah, Citizen Kane needs to be in black and white. Right. Magical Mystery Tour needs to be in color. I'll go along with both. I think so. I gotta be honest. To me, the Magical Mystery Tour movie is just not very good. Besides the music, spaghetti scene was nasty. Well, I agree to you. Magical Mystery Tour is not a good movie. I agree with you. But then again, I kind of take it for what it is when I watch it. I look at it as a video album. They started making video albums. Blondie had one, and other people had, Blondie had an Eat to the Beat one. It's like I look at it as a music video of the album. But what I don't like I don't like the movie per se or love the movie. I think you can look at it now and you see a good picture of what was going on at that particular point in time. It's a good time capsule. It captures the psychedelia of the time. If you're on acid, I imagine that's the kind of movie it is. Hit the like button. Thank you, Patrick. Please hit the like button. Good afternoon, Kenny. What's going on? Makes you consider buying the cassette version of any new release? The only thing that makes me consider it is collectability. I have no intention on opening it, no intention of playing a cassette. The ones I buy are like Ringo's EPs. I got all Ringo's EPs or Ringo's albums and EPs. Stuff like McCartney 3, Egypt Station. I think I bought the Now and Then single. I mean, just collectible, not no other reason. What's the greatest discovery you ever made at a flea market? Oh, I always tell a story about there was a soundtrack album of the movie called The Andromeda Strain, and I found an original copy. I've never seen another original copy. They put it out on Record Store Day once after that, but this was an original 1971 copy of it. I think it's called a hexagon. I don't know. It's a weird shape. That's probably the greatest discovery, but there were others if I really thought about it. What's your favorite between Paperback Writer and Rain? It depends on my mood, really. They're both great. I remember the first time I ever heard Paperback Writer. I thought it was the greatest thing I ever heard. These days, I'm a little tired of Paperback Writer. It's got the fatigue factor in it, and I'd rather hear Rain. I might have gone to the movie to see The Wall at the theater when it came out. I think I did, but I don't remember a damn thing about it. What's my favorite item in my Beatles collection? Oh, I always talk about it. If it's not McCartney's autograph, I got McCartney's autograph, Ringo's autograph. If it's not that, it has to be the thing that I show sometimes. You can see it in my avatar when Ringo. It was an original Ringo spyglass that they gave away to look through when the album Ringo's Rotogravure was released in '76. So there's a lot of other things too. I have not seen that Generation movie. There you go. I don't care. The Exorcist Believer is a piece of dog crap. Lousy movie. How about the thrift store finds? I don't know. I consider flea market and flea market and thrift stores is the same thing, really. I guess. Best flea market video was the one where you ran into that guy who worked with Ringo, and you had a nice chat in your car. Yeah, I remember that. That was good. I have not read A Cellar Full of Noise either. Nope. That's the Brian Epstein book. Do you still like hearing We Can Work It Out? Yeah, it's funny. That's one of those overplayed songs that I can hear anytime, and I'm still not sick of it. Just realized I was mute. Now you're going to get 100 comments saying you were mute, you were mute. I don't know. I don't know what's the last thing. Did you get the "We Can Work It Out" comment? If we do, we can. Another old telling. Here we go. We can. We can work it out. I don't know if you heard it. It's one of those songs that I still like hearing, even though it's played out. I still can always listen to it on the radio. I'm not tired of it. And I was saying, the Frankenstein model. I don't think it doesn't have eyebrows on it. It wasn't made with eyebrows. I think the person who painted it, drew eyebrows on it out of nowhere. I don't know what that Beatles hate album is about. What you're talking about? As much as I love "Come Together," that song has been run into the ground and played to death. That's one of them. You're only 21. Imagine if you were like 40 years older than that. If you've seen a cassette player or video disc player working really cheap, would you purchase one? I'd rather have a cassette player than a video disc player. I would never purchase a video disc player, even if it was free. If somebody gave me a free video disc player, I wouldn't, because I just don't. I love Blu-rays and DVDs and Blu-rays. There's nothing better than those, including laser discs. I don't care much about Nirvana. I've heard some good songs, but I'm not a fan. You know. Yep. Just want to tell people here and now that tomorrow I got to go back to that classroom place. I'll be back to the classroom. And the question is, like, what am I going to do? I'm either going to do one of these Q&As again with me, or I'm going to have, one of those group things with people coming up. I haven't decided yet. Can't believe you lost some subscribers. I I don't remember that. All I know is I got more subscribers than ever right now. Maybe there was one or two people that unsubscribed, but right now I'm doing a lot better. I mean, I've gotten like a lot recently. Do you have every Planet of the Apes movie ever made on Blu-ray? Yes, I do. Hold on. What do you think about the remastered Let It Be film? I kind of mentioned that already. I think it's important for it to be out. I think it's going to have great picture quality and sound quality because Peter Jackson is restoring it. And I think there's certain things about it that are important because there's footage in Let It Be that's not in Get Back, or there's some stuff in Get Back that's shorter than what's in Let It Be. I'm not sure about this song. On listening to many versions of "I Got a Feeling" live, there seems to be so many with different lyrics, talky bits, little nuances. How many times did they play it on that roof? On the roof, I think they only did a couple of times. I think. Well, I'm going to be there about 6 hours. I'll be there 6 hours tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to be online for doing a live or anything for the whole 6 hours. I don't know. What do you think of the most overplayed songs that are not Beatles songs? I did a video if you ever want to check it. It's an old video, but I did a video of the most overplayed songs. Um, I think number one was Hotel California by the Eagles. Maggie May by Rod Stewart's overplayed. Every Breath You Take by the Police. We got into a point where Free Fallin' by Tom Petty is overplayed. You know, we can go on forever naming these songs. Hello, Harold. Yeah, I think a few did, but it wasn't many. It was two, maybe one, two, three. It wasn't a lot. Next day you turn around, you get five, six, seven. What difference does it make? That's how I look at it. Would you rather live in a lighthouse or an igloo? A lighthouse. Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi's been played to death. Same with I Love Rock. Yeah, I love rock and roll also. It's hard to believe how much I loved I Love Rock and Roll when it first came out and how much I never want to hear it again now. It's funny. An overplayed song is Yellow Submarine, but I still love it. Okay, I agree with that. Yeah, I've said this before. Tainted Love. I used to love Tainted Love, and now I never want to hear that again either. It's just how that is. But sometimes they can kill a song for you, you know? Sometimes. All of Michael Jackson and Madonna's biggest songs are overplayed. I'll never get tired of hearing Daydream Believer. I don't mind Daydream Believer either. Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson is overplayed. If it's overplayed, I don't know that song. So there you go on that one. Don't know that one. If I had an opportunity to interview Sean, what would you ask him? Oh, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. I'd probably ask him a lot of questions about his solo career, and then I'd probably ask him about what's in store for the future of the Lennon estate stuff and how much, how instrumental is he in working on those? And I think he is very instrumental now. Yeah, those songs like Dreams and Go Your Own Way, some of those I mean, man, I love the Rumors album. The Rumors album is one of my all-time favorite albums of it by anybody. Uh, you know, would you rather have a half an hour meetup with Ringo or Sean? Now, come on, this is no diss to Sean, but if I had an opportunity to meet Ringo, I think he would understand that I'd want to meet Ringo. I'd like to meet Sean too in person. Uh, we'll put Paul McCartney ahead of Ringo and, and Sean. Do you think a box set for Rubber Soul will come out this year? And do you think they'll do a 2023 mixes and 24 mixes or just remix it all? I don't think they're going to remix it all. I would imagine they would use the 2023 mixes for the songs they already have. I would imagine. And I don't know if it's good. Is it going to come out this year? Nobody knows. And do I think it's going to come out? It's a possibility. Maybe for Christmas time, it's a possibility. All I know for sure is that Giles Martin had said at one point that that was going to be the next one whenever it comes out. What are my thoughts of how the deal went down when he purchased the Beatles songs after speaking with McCartney? I think it was low. But he said to Paul, it's just business. I think it was pretty low of him to do that, especially since Michael and Paul were friends, and he just went ahead and stabbed him in the back like that. To tell you the truth, but I think Paul and Yoko together should have bought those songs. Uh, I had MTV in the '80s, definitely. I was there when it premiered in 1981, I believe, and I don't know Smooth Criminal unless I hear it. Go to the Dakota. Wait for Sean to come out to meet him. First of all, does he still live in the Dakota? You know that song, "Take Me Home Tonight"? Sure, I don't like that song. I don't like that song. I still like to hear Two Tickets to Paradise by Eddie Money, though, and Baby Hold On. Baby Hold On, and Two Tickets to Paradise. I don't remember Mickey Dolenz when he was on the Circus Boy TV show. I know he was, but I didn't see that in my during my growing up. I will always maintain that Joe, if asked to interview any of the Beatles circle, they themselves would love it, because Joe would have a different angle on questioning. That would be refreshing. Thank you, and I agree with that. You listen out there, Paul, Ringo? I have not heard the Primrose Hill song. It's funny because all it takes is to press like play on YouTube just to hear it. You don't know what MTV is? MTV stands for Music Television. Um, Originally, MTV meant music television, where they were going to play music videos, and now it's just murder television or something. It's garbage now. The whole spirit of what MTV, they still call it MTV, right? But it's nothing of what they said. Um, I heard Yoko moved out of Dakota, now living on the cattle farm she bought with John. I heard the same thing. Then I heard somebody say it's not true. She hasn't moved. So I've heard both. I've heard that she's moved and that that's not true. She hasn't. So I don't know what the truth is on that. What is your favorite song other than the Beatles songs? A lot of songs. Where do I begin? I always joke around and say my favorite song is a 60s hit called Judy in Disguise by John Fred and his Playboy band. But I mean, I love so many other songs. I mean, hundreds, thousands of other songs. But if you ask me for my favorite song, only one song, that's the first one that comes to mind. You know, if it's MTV, I don't know what year it was. It's odd that she stayed where her husband was killed her whole life. You'd think she'd move away from that area because of being in that exact place. He was killed every day. Well, my only answer to that is that people are different. Everybody's different. And sometimes people have the attitude, nobody's going to make me move. I don't care, or something. So I really don't know. My mom never let me watch MTV for some reason back in the day. It's okay. My grandfather didn't want me and my sister watching Batman with Adam West because they were fighting all the time and punching each other and stuff. Well, much different from today, right? Parents today don't care. They partake in what their kids want to do. The kids rule them. There you go. Yes, we're upside down today. Yes, we are. Um, I wonder if any film studio execs have ever refused to make a remake of a classic because you can't touch the original. Even though so many have been remade and destroyed, well, they still seem to be leaving Jaws alone. For one thing, there are movies I believe they don't want to touch. They won't remake Citizen Kane, and they won't remake Jaws. What's crazy is that MTV turned their back on the music industry, and still artists to this day go to the MTV Music Awards, even though the channel plays no music. I would have boycotted them days ago. I have. Is Sean more like Yoko or John in his music talent or style, in your view? That's a good question. I haven't heard all of Sean's music, but I've heard music that could fit both. Sometimes Yoko, sometimes John. Yes, I know this song. I want to know what love is. I bought it on a 45 back in the day. I like the song. They've left Back in the Future alone as well, at least. Did you like the Jaws sequels? I think all the Jaws sequels are unworthy of the original. I think the best I think they go. Well, I was going to say go down. That's not really right because Jaws 2 is the best of the sequels, and the only reason I really say that is because Roy Scheider returns. I watch Jaws 2 these days. It's because Roy Scheider is in it. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the shark stuff even. I care about Roy Scheider and his problems, personal problems, as an adult now. And then I like Jaws the Revenge. Well, I don't like like it, but I mean better than three. I think three is the worst, and I think Jaws: The Revenge isn't as bad as three. Cherry Carter, hello. What's the good word? MTV has splintered off into so many categories, but MTV originally was awesome. And imagine music on TV all day. It was awesome originally, before the word awesome was abused that much. It was cool. Are you? Oh God, are your favorite Heston films like Planet of the Apes and Ben-Hur in the National Film Registry for being aesthetically significant? Well, I don't know about that. I guess those two would be. I don't really know Toto's album Africa very well. I'm sure I know songs from it. Yeah, I saw Jaws 3 in 3D when it first came out. I went to the theater when it came out and saw it. Terrible. Terrible movie, terrible 3D. I watched a video about the Planet of the Apes animated season. Is it any good? I'm a huge fan of Planet of the Apes, the movies, the television series from the 70s. I do not like the animated series. It's so bad to me. I've never been able to to watch more than like one episode. I can't stand the cartoon series. But maybe I have to revisit it for my movie channel. By the way, if you're interested in movies, you're interested in TV, please check out my movie channel below. It's Mayo's Movie Mayhem. There it is down there for you to check it out. Subscribe, please, and I'll show you some content with movies and movie collectibles and television collectibles and stuff like that. I've never seen the movie though, Life of Pi. There are a lot of movies I don't. Just a word to the people who are going to watch this channel, if anybody. I don't claim to be the world's authority on movies. I just watch what I like. You know. Do you care at all about the National Film Registry? Nah, not really. Yes, Steve Lukather from Toto has been a member of Ringo Starr's All Star Band for many years now. Yep. Would I rather watch the cartoon series or Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes? I'd rather watch the cartoon series. That shows you how much I hate Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. I don't know what I can't figure this out. I don't know what we're talking about there. At least all your opinions are original and genuine. You don't have staff like Leonard Maltin. Yeah, right. Leonard Maltin has a staff. That's true. Um, have you ever played a record backwards? Oh boy, yeah, I'm afraid I've done that in my life. Did the Beatles ever do anything to promote themselves on MTV back in the day? I Now you got me. I'm trying to think. They had stuff on MTV. They had videos too. They had stuff like they took like songs out of the movie A Hard Day's Night and made videos for them and stuff like that. I remember. Yeah. This is true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. VH1, I think, did do more Beatles stuff than MTV. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, Roger Ebert, there's some stuff I agreed with him on and some didn't. I didn't agree with him on. It was said that John Lennon loved the music video for Ashes to Ashes when it came on MTV in 1980. I know that he saw some videos on cable TV, but I don't think MTV launched until after John was dead. Uh, Joe, to be honest, you need your viewers' interactions, correct? I'm not sure I get you. I'm not sure I understand. To be honest, you need your viewers' interactions. Uh, how did Beetle Brad do the intro to his record store day video? He's in a laboratory, mad scientist mode. I haven't seen it yet. I think you're right about that. I think you're right about that. I want my MTV. I remember there were a lot of there were a lot of commercials before MTV debuted, and people were saying, "I want my celebrities, singers, saying I want my MTV. I want my MTV." Uh, Joe, to be honest, you need your viewers' interactions, live streams. I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're saying. In order for me to, are you saying? Are you saying, Joe? To be honest with you, you need this, or are you saying, in order for me to be honest, I need to have my viewers' interactions? I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm not wild about either Philip Norman or Hunter Davies. I'll take Mark Lewison. Uh, VH1 was great for solo Beatles. I thought VH1 did still exist in some form. No, the Fest for Beatles fans is not over. There's going to be one in August in Chicago. I'm supposedly going to go there. As far as I know, I'm still going. And then after that, there's going to be one. People were wondering, are they still going to have one in the New York, New Jersey area? And already they're saying there's going to be something in 2025 in the New York, New Jersey area. So there you go. Good news. And for all the anti-Beatle Fest people, keep on being miserable. What can I tell you? We're going to be happy. So there you go. Yeah, I hate that song. Video killed the radio star. Hate that. Where was I on 9/11? I was at work at the post office, and we hadn't gone out to deliver mail yet. We were still in the office, and we had the radio on, and we heard that. I remember a guy came into the break room. We were having a morning break in the morning, and a guy came in and said a airplane is crashed into the World Trade Center, and nobody thought anything of it. So then we heard a second plane. Then we heard on the radio said a second plane crashed into it. Then we knew it was a terrorist attack. And then we heard the Pentagon. They were crashing into the Pentagon. So you're talking about there's that commercial that goes the final countdown. Is that the one you're talking about? If I'm in Chicago in August, I want to go to the fest for the marketplace and to meet the YouTube personalities. Good, Brooks. Say hello if you're there. Introduce yourself. Do you remember where you were when Hinckley shot Reagan? Yeah, I was at another job. Before I had the post office, I was at another job, and same thing. One of the guys said they just shot the pres. Somebody just shot the president. I can remember seeing him. Yeah, ashes to ashes, funk to funky. The rest of it. Hello, Charles. Since a lot of people are collecting vinyl again, do you class CDs as the second best of vinyl? Or do you like both formats? The reason I ask, I had to take a faulty vinyl back today. I like both CDs and records. I think for playing purposes, I don't know. I think I like CD because it's more convenient, more compact. You can bring it around with you easily, where you can't do that so much with vinyl. But vinyl's cool because the format's just cool. The packaging, the size of the vinyl, the idea that you have to interact with it, you got to put the needle on and play it and stuff like that. If you had to work again, what would you want to do? Nothing. I don't want to work anymore. I did enough of it in my life. But if I had to do something like that, how about a television series, a comedy series, me being like a character in a television series? Anybody out there? Any talent scouts out there? And that's it. I'm going to end it on that. I'm sorry if I missed some of your questions, but I don't want it to be longer than 90 minutes. So thank you. I may be back on tomorrow morning sometime. Maybe. check it out, see if I do it. Robbie Detroit's vinyl just got here. I'm sorry, Robbie, got to leave. So I should be on tomorrow, maybe. And I should be doing this again next Saturday around the same time. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you watching me. And